Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, I've just got to jump on another call.
Good morning. Good morning, Stan. Thank you for letting us know. Hi, good morning, Duncan.
Good morning, Luca.
Good morning.
Duncan, I'll make you co-host. I've just sent you the link to the YouTube. If you wouldn't mind posting it on the circle.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Interesting news last night. For those of you that follow the news, it looks like a Bitcoin ETF is finally going to be approved. So we'll see what that means in a second. I'll explain here. Just to be patient for a second. We'll just wait another couple of minutes just to see if there are any more people coming on the call. But I will be explaining it in detail. So the two lots of big news this week. One is concerning Bitcoin, and the other one is concerning Polkadot. And you know, if you haven't heard about Polkadot, or if you haven't bought any, it means that you haven't been really listening to what I've been saying for the past 4 months. Yeah. So no excuses there. But let me go straight into it. Let me share my screen and see what's been happening to Bitcoin. I don't want this. Sorry, I want that. So some of these menus I just need to reorganize. Okay, so let's have a look at some charts. So if we can see, this is a the Bitcoin chart. When do you think we have the announcement? Okay, when the big movement really happened is kind of like this morning. This morning, kind of like at 3 o'clock in the morning. But there were like rumors already, as you can see here from the growth from about 7:30 last night, when and when there were some rumors that the SEC, which is the regulator in the US for the stock market, apparently is going to approve a Bitcoin exchange traded fund. It's called for short an ETF. And ETFs in general are funds, the same way that you will buy any fund, but the only difference is that they don't have a centralized manager, but they kind of like a passive fund that invest in a variety of items that it represents. For example, one of the most famous ones is the fund, the VUSA, which invests in all the companies in the S&P 500 index. For example, the one advantage about investing in these funds is that they are quoted on the stock market, so you can buy and sell them like shares. There are no entry or exit fees like there are in many private funds, and they have got very, very low management fees. So we are talking, where sometimes if you buy funds, they might have a 1.5%, 2% management fee. With ETFs, we are talking about below 0.1% management fees on a yearly basis. So you can buy ETFs, of pretty much anything on the market. You know, there are market-wide ETFs and there are sector-wide ETFs. So the ones that invest, for example, in. Sorry, there's somebody that is. I can hear some noise in the background. Can you make sure that you're all muted, please? So there are some industry-wide ETFs, and like the indexes, for example, there's the Nasdaq ETF, S&P ETF, and so on, Dow Jones ETF, and there are some sector-specific. So the ones that, for example, invest in transportation or invest in technology stocks, or I don't know. So there are so many different ones, there have been about 28 filings to establish cryptocurrency ETFs, in particular Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, so why is it important? Is because an ETF is a regulated investment, and as such, it is possible to invest in an ETF from certain players that are limited in what they can do. So there are some entities, like for example pension funds, that can only invest in certain type of investments. By having an ETF, it means that it will open the Bitcoin as an investment class for a lot of these entities. Okay, so investment fund managers, for pension fund managers, and so on, can now invest in Bitcoin directly through this ETF. And at the same time, people that have an pension account, for example, they can, like a self-invested pension account, they can now buy this Bitcoin ETF with their investment account. So the result of all this, at least what it is thought, is that there is going to be an influx of funds into Bitcoin as a result. Now, this is not as simple as that, in the sense that this is not what is called a spot ETF. So the fund will not actually buy Bitcoins, but it's a futures ETF. So the fund will buy Bitcoin futures. Okay, so it is good news anyway, because it means like funds coming into cryptocurrency, becoming kind of like a more household name that everybody can hold in their investment account. But at the same time, it's a little bit worrying as well, because the futures in recent times have been used to manipulate markets quite a lot. Okay, so there is also the worry that the futures ETF will be used in a way to try and control the price of Bitcoin without actually having to, for the entities that want to control it, without having to physically buy Bitcoins. Okay, so there is kind of like everything. There are two sides to this coin. But the other thing that's important, although this is a futures ETF, there are also spot ETFs on the cards. And as I said, there are about 28 different filings. So accepting one filing, it will make it more difficult to reject other ones. Okay, so there will be, potentially, as this one will be passed. I mean, we don't know until we see the ink on the dotted line. But if this is approved, then more likely than not, other ETFs will be approved, and then we'll move from, as normally happens, from Bitcoin, there will be some mixed ETF that will hold Bitcoin, maybe and Ethereum, and then some of the other bigger cryptocurrency will come into it. So we'll have maybe a top 10 blockchain ETFs and so on. So we'll find Cardano, Solana, and all the other big projects that will be part of ETFs in the near future as well. So this can be a kind of like a game changer in terms of how many users will be able to buy Bitcoin, and also safely from their point of view, because a lot of people are still scared of having to manage their own portfolio and prefer maybe just dealing with financial institutions or banks. This way it's easier, because you can just have, from your investment account, you can buy these things. You don't have to worry about custody or about anybody else stealing your coins. That's been taken care of, and you can do it simply. So it is a very good deal, and it is thought that this might end up pushing Bitcoin, if I go back to the daily chart, to reach the old, the all-time high, which is not that far away now, because today we touched 60,000, and the all-time high is at 64,854. So we're not that far. You know, that's what is it? It's about 7 to 8% increase from where we are now. So it's very possible. So that's the one big thing, and we will see. I mean, literally, we had the news just now, so we will see how this plays out in the market. But I will say pay a lot of attention in this, and don't just pay that attention to the price of Bitcoin, but also if we look at something like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and we refresh. Okay, pay a little bit of attention to the global market cap. Okay, because what we've seen in the past couple of weeks, we have seen now, there's a new. Let me just look at this period here. We touched kind of like we came down from from the previous all-time high, about 2.6 trillion, almost like the market halved, up to July, and went down to about 1.2 trillion, and now we're back to about 2.5, and we are likely to take out the all-time high, which was only 100 billion away. And just is showing you the maturity of the market. So it's not just Bitcoin, but it's the whole market that it's growing quite healthily, And that brings us to the second item that I wanted to talk about, which is Polkadot. So we want to see what happened to Polkadot recently. Anybody has followed Polkadot and has listened to what I've been saying this past month or so? Say, get your Polkadot now, buy it now. Don't wait. And things are interesting when they're boring. As we can see, Polkadot had been boring for quite a while, and then it started growing. And then this week, we've had the announcement that the parachain auctions will start shortly. Okay, before the end of the year. It may be as soon as mid-November, or it more probably will be at the beginning of December. But that is a big announcement. As you can see, Polkadot has rallied from about $30 to where it is now at $41. If I look at a smaller time frame, it's a bit more. You can see where the announcement was, can't you? Looking at the charts. So this is Wednesday at about 5 o'clock. That's the exact time of the announcement. You can see what happened in 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. We went from $34 to about 43. Okay, so this is how quickly things happen. But look at how it was pretty much going sideways for quite a while, and then boom. You just need the right news from the market to just take off. And now it is thought that again Polkadot can again reach new highs and and actually break the all-time high, which was about $50. Okay, so we probably will get to that point and beyond, because this is a big project again. And it is significant that both Polkadot and Cardano, which came off from Ethereum founders, Charles Hoskinson for Cardano and Gavin Wood, for Polkadot, and projects that have been on the cards since 2015 for Cardano and 2016 for Polkadot are actually coming to the market now in the same quarter with projects that for different reasons are going to improve the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem. Okay, Cardano really because of the upgraded, let's say, smart contracts that brings an improvement of the market standard, which has been the Ethereum smart contracts, and Polkadot for the interoperability between blockchains. So what this is not just significant for Cardano and Polkadot, but it's kind of like it's raising the bar for the whole cryptocurrency industry, because it's basically creating new standards, and anybody that comes after those will have to play on these new standards or just disappear, because why would you use something that is not as good as something that's already on the market? Okay, so it is very significant now, and both of them are, in a way, they've been seen as huge coiled spring, for the past few months, because even if Cardano released the smart contracts in September, and we saw a lot of interest and a lot of price appreciation around that time, but at the same time, the projects haven't started delivering yet the applications on the Cardano blockchain, and they are coming now in October, November, December. They will be delivering their projects, because there is a big bottleneck with audits and auditors being available to certify the projects before they're released on the market. Okay, so as soon as we start seeing that, we're seeing the new projects on Cardano and the new projects on Polkadot, and the news on Polkadot is that this technique has been used now on Kusama for about 4 months, and everything is working, everything is stable. So they are ready now to to repeat this process on the main chain. And when that happens, it's really going to mean that projects that are already working on other blockchains can be integrated with Polkadot, and it's going to be kind of like a massive improvement for the developers of those projects, because Polkadot will make it possible for them to be present on different blockchains at the same time. So it's a really big kind of like game-changing improvement for a lot of projects, and many of them will be able. Obviously, Polkadot will have an Ethereum virtual machine as well. So with very little modification, projects that are on Ethereum will be able to work on Polkadot too. Okay, so that means that they will also bring with them, the one is customer base. So if you think about Bitcoin, now Bitcoin can be present on Polkadot as well. All the Bitcoin community, or at least some of the Bitcoin community now, will come to Polkadot too, and also they will bring liquidity with them, as they can use their assets on a different blockchain. And obviously, some of that liquidity can be used within Polkadot. So it's a big deal for many different reasons, and so really you should have got onto Polkadot a long time ago. There were lots and lots of chances from when the price came down. It went as low as $10. But even if you bought it last week, you still would have got a 20%, over 25% increase in a few days. Because this announcement had been, as I told you last week, it was already on the card. So everybody knew that the announcement was coming, and so you could almost like predict the price appreciation. Okay, so these are kind of like easy pickings in a way. Some of these trades. On other news, obviously this one we talked about, Bitcoin. It's 60,000. So the other bits of news, the other important one is that Coinbase is proposing a new agency to regulate the cryptocurrency industry, because of so they published a digital asset policy proposal, simply because of the confusion of both about regulation in general, but also who has got authority over cryptocurrency. There are so many agencies in the US that are vying for power, or for the power to regulate cryptocurrency, and it's not quite clear really whose job it is to do that. So and Coinbase, obviously, they have their problem with the SEC recently about they launching the Lend platform, and really they want some regulatory clarity. There has been kind of like slowing coming from the SEC, and I think it's also with the mess that has been created by the infrastructure bill that's going through the House of Representatives right now, it just almost like speaks for the necessity of having a proper dedicated body that's dealing with cryptocurrencies, because the people they are trying to regulate it now, really, one, they don't know what they're doing, and two, they don't know what effect they're having with their hastily made decisions, which are just basically money grabbing opportunities when they're trying to get some tax revenues from the crypto industry. I mean, and it's something that could be done a lot more elegantly and without disrupting what is one of the main driver of technology employment in the US. So they don't want to really scare innovation away and go into other countries simply because they regulate it in their own way, or they're going about it too quickly. Okay. Okay, so these are the main things. I didn't want to put too many things in the pot today, because I think it was important to concentrate on this couple of things. And now I would like to hear what you think about it, or what your questions are about these things. So so we can see what. Sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. I was trying to talk and read the chat at the same time, and I got distracted. Sorry.
It was only from me, because you didn't make me a co-host and I couldn't mute people, but it's all right. Oh, good. Carol's got a question for us, and if nobody else has, of course I will. If you're buying crypto now, what would you buy? Says Carol. I could put that another way, Luca, if you don't mind, because I know you won't like that question in that way. I've been looking myself today in my very, very limited capacity, and normally I notice that when Bitcoin jumps up in that way, it takes everything else with it. But on this occasion, it doesn't seem to have done in quite the same way. And also, I noticed that the news is that you've been mentioning specifically about Bitcoin. Obviously, it is really literally specifically about Bitcoin. So has that made any difference? And in that case, does it mean that it's a good time to buy other stuff now because they may follow? And is that a better way of asking the question rather than which specific coins we should be going for? Sorry,
Yeah,
Carol.
I mean,
I know what he likes.
Okay, the way it's going is exactly kind of by the book. Because what happens is that when Bitcoin doesn't move very often, but when it moves, people sell everything else and buy Bitcoin. And then once it stops, they say, okay, Bitcoin has stopped now. Let's put the money where in other parts that are growing rather than Bitcoin. So it generally is that Bitcoin goes first, then you go to Ethereum and the other big layer one protocols, and then it goes to the smaller projects. So that's the way it normally goes. Okay, but recently, if you hadn't bought anything before, I would be really looking very hard in decentralized finance projects right now, because there is a lot of money being invested by hedge funds and general investors, VCs, venture capitalists into decentralized finance. And this is not just one particular blockchain, but it's absolutely everywhere. So you will see, if I can show you the, let me just share my screen again. To make you understand what's going on. Again, moving all these things. Okay, this is kind of like a total value locked in decentralized finance projects. Okay, if we look at the chart, we've gone, in 2020, there was hardly anything. You're talking about not even 1 billion. And 1 year ago, let's say at the end of October, we were at 10 billion for total value locked in DeFi. And look at where we are now. We are at 218 billion. So this year, I mean, if you just look at 2021, we were about 21 billion at the beginning of the year. So it's grown exactly 10 times up to now, and we're still not at the end of the year. Okay, so this shows you how much appetite there is for decentralized finance. And the other thing to be that's interesting to notice is how this is affecting banks, because if you think the banks are not taking notice, then you're wrong, because they are really worried. Because what's happened is that it's not that decentralized finance will replace banks tomorrow, okay? That is not going to happen, because financial system is actually quite resilient and will find a way of surviving. But what it is affecting their margins, okay? And when you think about that, lots of banks work on small margins. A difference of 1% or 2% in their margin, will make a difference if they're profitable or not. So they are really at the moment at a time where they really don't know what to do, because they are trying to get some of the revenues from decentralized finance, because they can't compete with it. So they're trying to find a way of getting involved, so that they can offer this to their customers. I mean, if you follow the news, one of the other things that wasn't in the news was, let's see if I can bring it up. It was Société Générale. Société Générale, which is one of the oldest bank in France. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe I misspelled it. Let's see if I can Google it live. Okay. Oh, sorry. Here we are. That's the news. So this is one of the first cases where a traditional bank has actually provided collateral to a cryptocurrency protocol, which is MakerDAO, which is one of the oldest decentralized finance protocols, and they are the founders of the DAI cryptocurrency, which is an algorithmic cryptocurrency, which is aiming to be the cryptocurrency world currency everybody can use. And it is also significant because Société Générale have used collateral in terms of they had euro bonds, so they provided euro bonds as collateral. And most of the MakerDAO collateral is in US dollars. So they're proving the concept that they can have in their system, multiple collateral in multiple different currencies, and the system can take it and use it and provide their DAI cryptocurrency that can be used to for people to lend and borrow. So and it is also significant because the fact that they have done it at all doesn't matter what the size is. The fact that they've done it means that they've gone through all the legal procedures that they need to approve with the regulators in France to make this possible. So if they have done it, it means that it is legal to be done and it's been approved by the regulator, which is even bigger news than the fact that they have provided this collateral in the first place. So we're seeing a convergence of banking and decentralized finance, and we'll see banks that are trying to get in on the game, and we'll see decentralized finance protocols that are going to trying to become banks, like we talked about Coty last week. They are releasing a current account and credit card, and they are mainly a crypto protocol. So that's very interesting space. But this is again, as usual, I give long answers to short questions. But I'm thinking if you're looking to invest right now, I would be looking very hard at decentralized finance and investing in some of the bigger players in the arena, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. We just started this game, and we'll see this huge transfer of funds between the traditional financial world to the crypto world. Okay, so yeah.
Amazing. Pierre is interested in the printing of dollars. He says it seems to continue. And are they caught up in a catch-22 situation? When will this stop? And are there other opportunities for them? assuming the longer it continues, the stronger it makes the case for cryptos.
Well, I don't think they can stop it. As simple as that. I don't think it will stop it, and I don't think they can if they wanted to. and I mean, it's kind of like sometimes, you know, it's nice, you know, I know it's not nice to say I told you so, but sometimes it's also good to be proven right about things, because I've been talking about this stuff since 2008. You know, after the subprime mortgage crisis, we got already from 2008, we were in a situation where most major economies put themselves in a position of never being able to ever repay their national debt. Okay, so that when you put yourself in that position, it means the debt grows all the time, and then the interest that you pay on your national debt grows all the time to a point. And we got to a point in different economies across the world where the interest paid on the national debt is more than the GDP that the country can produce in a year. So what's the solution to that? I mean, if you go, you know, just think about yourself. If you got a credit card bill and the interest on your credit card bill is more than you earn every month, you know, what do you do? You know, what's the solution? And you know, it's not easy, is it? So generally, you know, a single, you know, person can go bankrupt. What happens if a country goes bankrupt? You know, so we are talking about, you know, and this is, again, I've been talking about since 2008. We're talking about a redefinition of the value of money. So really, we're talking about the end of this financial system that we have now, and something else replacing it. So the question then is not, will this need to be done? Yes, it will need to be done. It's what will replace it. And you know, in history, generally, when we have replaced a fiat currency system, we always gone back to gold and the gold standard. Now, it is thought that gold is not really fit for purpose for the modern economy. So, are we going to go towards a Bitcoin standard? You know, I mean, your opinion is as good as mine, and I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I think that we might be, in a way, pushed in that direction by the El Salvadors of this world, because if you think about small countries and developing countries are being trapped in a way by as a result of the colonial system, which put them in a position where they can't support themselves without loans from international bodies or from bigger economies. But what that has meant is that they lost control of their economies. And now, as something like El Salvador is producing results and shows weak economies that they can manage their own economy profitably, then how can you take it away from them? You know, I mean, in Salvador, in 3 weeks, they've now have more Bitcoin wallets than they have bank accounts. You know, so if you think people that never had a bank account and now have a Bitcoin wallet, then, you know, one day you say, oh, I'm sorry, you can't have that anymore. I don't think it would be a very easy transition to take away something once people have tasted what it is like and the things that they can do with it. Take it away is not simple. And once we get most of Africa, South America, Caribbeans, you know, East Asia, Eastern Europe, using the tools that are provided by cryptocurrency, it almost will create, for me, I mean, the way as I see it, kind of like an avalanche effect, and then, you know, and then it would become almost a de facto standard. So that's my view, my take on this question. Okay, there's a lot of people coming in late today. Okay, all right, next question.
Ooh, Andrew says Cardano isn't really accelerating that much. He's glad he switched to Shiba. Oh, is it all comedy, Andrew, or are you really glad? I've been watching Shiba this morning, and it seems to be dying off a bit. But I have to admit, I had a little dabble myself, even though it's against the rules of being a crypto investor club. I did get a few myself. Jonathan said he was having a talk about the future of finance with some friends. Do you think we will always need a fiat-based stablecoin or tied stablecoin? Will the reserve currency always be fiat, or will we end up with a reserve currency and stablecoin that's digital?
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to have, I don't think we're going to have fiat currencies anymore. So at the moment, there is we're in a transition stage, so it is necessary. Yeah, I think we're going towards algorithmic stable coins anyway. So we are going more in that direction personally. Yeah. And the other thing about the question about Shiba, and Andrew said, responding a little bit serious about it. I've got nothing against it, okay, but you got to consider, are you a trader or are you an investor? Because if you're looking to hold something for the long run, then you got to think about it. What is this thing that I have in my portfolio doing, and what's the reason why I have it in my portfolio? And there is no reason to have Shiba Inu or Dogecoin unless it is like to sell it at a later date for more money. Who's talking? Okay. Okay, so guys, I've muted everybody unless you want to talk, and then you can unmute yourself. Okay. So what's the reason of holding something like a meme coin apart from selling it at a later date for more money? It's just like a speculation. So that thing, yes, you can. If you're day trading, then you can use everything because it's not going to be in your portfolio for long. If you're intending to keep something for a long time, then I wouldn't do it. And if you're talking about Cardano, just say Cardano's not doing much. Yeah, Cardano is like a coil spring. It's like if you said before this week, you said Polkadot is not doing much. Yeah, of course it's not. Of course it's not, because they're getting ready for big announcements. But when the announcement comes, then the big movement happens. And the best time to invest is always when things are boring. You don't want to jump onto the bandwagon when things are starting to go crazy. What's the point of buying Shiba Inu after he's grown by 300%, 400%? If you bought it like a month ago, then I could have understood it. But now, after all the value has been taken out of it, really, the value of investing, what's the point? You just got a bigger risk with not much of an upside. But that's my opinion. Apart from that, I say I look more for projects they are trying to do something useful rather than wasting time in projects like that. They don't bring any value to the world economy.
Okay. Can you explain for anybody else how entering a liquidity pool or taking part in a liquidity pool would differ from simply using an exchange?
Yeah, basically with an exchange, you are using a third party to exchange your coins, and so what you do is just you put your coins onto a platform, whether it's Binance, Coinbase, or any other platform like that, but you lose control of your coins. Okay, so they're not into your possession anymore. It's just like the difference between having cash in your wallet or putting your cash in a bank account. If there wasn't any guarantee on the bank account, then you would trust the bank to give you the money back at a future date. But if the bank went bust, your money is gone with it. And this is the same thing with an exchange. If the exchange, something happens to the exchange, they go a hack, or they private company, most of the exchanges. So if they go bust, then what happens to your coin? You lose it. Whether with a liquidity pool, it's a mechanism to exchange coins in a decentralized way. So liquidity pool, it means that the liquidity providers provide the same amount, the same monetary value of two different coins. Let's say, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you provide liquidity to a Bitcoin and Ethereum liquidity pool, you would put, let's say, one Bitcoin and what it is now, about 12 Ethereum, pretty much the same quantity of the two coins. And then people that want to exchange these two tokens will, let's say, if you want to buy Bitcoin, you will deposit Ethereum in the liquidity pool and you will take out Bitcoin. And the opposite would happen if you wanted to buy Ethereum, you will deposit Bitcoin and take out Ethereum. And as a result, you will pay also a small transaction fee. Now, the people who provide the liquidity will then get rewarded with these transaction fees for the risk that they are taking. Okay, and that's the difference between a liquidity pool and a centralized exchange. Okay, so it's a mechanism to let people exchange their tokens without losing control of their coins. Okay, and it's something that before they were kind of like invented, somebody couldn't do. It wasn't easy to exchange tokens. In the early days of Bitcoin, if you wanted to sell your Bitcoin, you had to find somebody that wanted to buy them first. And it wasn't an easy process. So this has made the process a lot easier, a lot more seamless, without having to risk and always keeping control of your coins. Okay, so I hope the question helps. So I can see from here, maybe one should then reduce your exposure in dollar earning assets and increase your exposure in especially GBP earning assets. No, because it's that's the difference. Do you want to reduce your exposure to currency in general, any form of currency, whether it's pounds, yen, dollars, or South African rand, or whatever it is? You just don't want to hold currency. You want to hold hard assets. And this is why Bitcoin is valued by everybody, because it's understood to be a solid asset with a limited issuance that cannot, governments cannot decide to just print at will. And that's why it's valued so much. And other cryptocurrency, as a result, are gaining value because of the same reason. Because whether they have a hard cap like Bitcoin or not, they have a publicly available monetary policy, and you can read it, and nobody can change that policy. So you're not going to buy them to begin with, and then find out that person A or person B have decided to print another 27 quadrillion of the stuff, so that what you got in your hands is basically pretty much worthless. So that's the question. That's the answer, Pierre. You just you really want to get away from cash and investing in hard assets, whether they're crypto, whether they're property, whether they're precious metals. I would, as much as possible, and this is what I'm doing, like take your money away from the banks and invest it. Okay. So Dan, I was saying there's a concern related to USDT. I mean, it's still going on, but USDT is still the major stable coin, and it's the major provider of liquidity on the crypto market. So it's not something that is going to disappear anytime soon. But the main ones, USDT and USDC and Binance USD probably are the three the three centralized stable coins. And also the Terra USD is gaining ground a lot, as kind of like a decentralized stable coin. And the DAI, MakerDAO, DAI is one of the pillars of the decentralized finance sector, and that's one is seen as a more decentralized project that nobody, because at the end of the day, the USDT and USDC, they saying that the coins that are in circulation are backed by physical dollars in companies' vault at the end of the day. Okay, so these dollars are deposited somewhere, and somebody has got control over that account, which is the worry about certain stable coins. And the answer is stable coins like MakerDAO, like DAI, or like the one, for example, there are other algorithmic stable coins as well on the market, and Cardano, for example, just launched one as well, that are not backed by, they're not pegged to the dollar or to another currency, but they are pegged to a basket of cryptocurrencies to keep stability. Okay. All right.
That sounds
So,
like an interesting hedge to go on the Cardano coin to be able to buy others, but you're saying it's not hedged to a currency, but a pool. So would you advise buying like Tether and then buying into that Cardano to use that Cardano stable coin, or is it too premature to play with it that way?
it depends. I mean, when you say buying the stable coin, you don't really need to buy stable coins. Stable coins are just really to exchange. I mean, the only question is if, for some period you're not sure about investing in cryptocurrency in a certain period because they think that the market might go down, for example, and you want to keep some funds in a stable coin without, taking actually the funds out and putting them back into your bank account. So, but you don't generally, the reason why you have Tether or another stable coin is because of transition, because there's a lot of liquidity in those markets. So if you want to buy a lot of smaller coins, you use a stable coin as a liquidity provider in a way. So it's easier to, exchange your smaller coin for Tether or for USDC, and then you use the USDC to buy something else. But you don't use them to, you don't keep them for a long time. It's not, I mean, a lot of these are very, very respected projects, and I don't think any of those will be what is called rug pulled. But there is always a kind of like a counterparty risk with stable coins as well. So personally, I trust code more than I trust people. Okay, so I prefer algorithmic stable coins to pegged stable coins, simply because they don't respect the currency that they peg to. Okay, so that's the thing. I judge my things. I judge my investments in kind of Bitcoin returns. I don't judge them on dollar terms, because the dollar is losing value all the time.
I understand that, and so I think perhaps I was directed incorrectly when I first started investing. I was with Investment Mastery, and they were very clear. When you make a purchase of any coins, make it from a Tether or any of these stable coins, because you'll pay less fees versus buying directly from dollar to a particular coin. And so that is the premise of why I'm asking is, if I'm moving cash from my rands or my dollars into crypto, I've been using that process where I go to Tether instead of going straight from dollar to Polko, dollar to ADA. Is that incorrect?
No, it's not incorrect at all, because that question is more to do with the centralized exchange that's got to do with the stablecoin itself, because some centralized exchanges make pairings available in fiat, but they charge higher commissions. Like Kraken, for example, is one of those. Okay, so that's why I think you were recommended to do that. But there are some centralized exchanges that don't charge any extra for exchanging fiat. So it really depends from what exchange you're using. It's not one question for everything. But as a general strategy, so if you don't know any better, you can't go wrong by doing that. But you wouldn't normally keep stable coins in your account for a long time. That's what I'm talking about. You use it as a transition where you're moving from crypto to stable coin, then to buying other coins. But it's not something that you really would keep in your cryptocurrency account for a long time, because what's the point really? if you move money to your exchange because you want to buy tokens, I mean, there's no advantage in buying stable coins because the price is fixed. So it's not an investment. It's just like parking money.
Where might we find a, well, I thought I'd heard here, but maybe it's somewhere else, that given the volatility of currencies, it's good to get into stable coin, but now I'm rethinking that because the stable coin is pegged to the currency you bought it with. So it's going to lose value depending on what it's doing on Forex exchanges. So the segue into that is I just kind of try to put some money into stable coins so that if I hear something that you've said, or I read something in a newspaper that looks promising, then I've already got it sitting there. But what I think I'm curious about is to find the exchanges that don't charge the fees like Kraken, because it is a pain in the tush to kind of do it twice. It would be easier just to do it once. Would that be on CoinGecko or CoinStats or TradingView, just to tell us, you know, which exchanges are not charging to go straight from fiat to a coin?
I would say, rather than tell you about the single exchanges, it's just like generally, whenever you're making a transaction, before you confirm the transaction, you always see what the transaction fees are. So always double check that. Don't just click without looking at the confirmation. This is where it will say whether it is on an exchange or whether it is on MetaMask or a decentralized exchange. You always have that confirmation phase, you know, where you can check what the cost is of doing that particular transaction. Okay, so you know, then
Right.
it's up to you,
Okay, so
depending
then
on
just
what
go
you're
to
using.
various exchanges, just
Yeah.
bounce between exchanges before you make a purchase. And is that because because that's time consuming? Is that because exchanges are constantly changing their fees?
Some of them are more fixed. But what I'm saying is that as they you know, they are private companies and they change things as they see fit. So always change, but it's not a big deal anyway. If you see that they charge more for buying directly with fiat, you know, it doesn't take much to buy stable coins first and then use those to buy the
Oh yeah,
coins.
no, I was
It's
just
not a
thinking of
big
like
deal.
going to Kraken, going to Binance, going to Coinbase, going to all of them to see what the fees are. Maybe I misunderstood that some of them have really low fees no matter what. But I'll just start and find me the time.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit time consuming, but it's worth investing the time to understand these things. Okay.
Thank you.
So what was the next question? Okay, Mila, what do you expect from ADA? What I expect from ADA is that it's going to dominate the world. This is what I really believe it. I really believe it. But you know, I'm not going to give you any price prediction, because my price prediction for ADA are like, you know, beyond the charts, you can see. So I'll just say it's a fantastic project, and something that it represents a large part of my portfolio, and I am not looking to divest of ADA anytime soon. Okay, so it's in there for me for the long term. Now, Dana, is it too late to buy more Polkadot? By the way, it's not Polka. Polka is the dance. Dot is the currency. Okay. Is it too late to buy more Polka? It's never too late to buy more Polkadot, because it's another one of those projects that you know, will grow very much in the next few years. And again, it's another long-term project. It's not a short-term play. Although we had, you know, it's difficult this week because we had the news. So it's grown about 25% in a week. So maybe it's not the best time to buy now, but you know, it's something to keep an eye on, to, you know, maybe if we to put a limit order on some volatility to get it a slightly lower price. But I think again, Polkadot is another item, another asset that it's starting to.
I bought
gain
very
momentum.
little, a long time ago, like when I first got in, like 8 months ago, and then I, you know, was learning what staking was, so I staked it on Kraken, and it didn't tell me how long or when Kraken will release it. Do you have any idea what Kraken's doing? Like, it was the first time and the only time I've ever staked anything, and I was like, sure, it's just a few Polkadot or whatever, I had 20 of them.
Polkadot on Kraken, you can unstake anytime.
Oh, great. Okay. Because
there is no locking period on Kraken. So it's on
Right.
Binance you do, but not on Kraken. It's almost like automatically compounding, and you can unstake it whenever you want.
I'll jump in there and investigate. Thank you.
Okay, Stan, if you want on-chain data, you can get it from Glassnode. Okay, for any decent data, you're gonna have to pay for it. And by the way, it's one thing that's interesting to notice about Bitcoin, that although the price has gone up in the past 2 years from about 10,000 to 60,000 where we are now, there are less transactions going on the Bitcoin network now than there were 2 years ago. Okay, so it's kind of like it's important to understand that Bitcoin has gained as a store of value, but not really a platform where transactions are happening. Although it's growing now with the Lightning Network, but really the value of Bitcoin is because now everybody's using it as a store of value, and it's becoming kind of like a de facto standard for kind of institutional investment. For the reason is that it's the only currency, maybe Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, that have the liquidity to enable institutional investors to come in and out of the market with large investments of billions of dollars. Okay, so they know that they can easily put $5 billion in Ethereum or Bitcoin, and it's not really, move the market a lot because of the liquidity that's available. Okay, so that's the reason why it is worth that much, but not because of the transactions that are going on. There's a difference with Ethereum, Cardano, Solana. All the other platforms are really gaining value because the activity on the network is growing all the time. Okay, so they're transacting more value. There are more transactions on this network, and this is what is improving their value long term. But Bitcoin is mainly as being like a store of value. Okay, Pierre, many educated people and even mentors keep on advising us to put part of your investment portfolio into crypto, but smaller percentage, say max 20%. Okay, this percentage, generally, I mean, if you listen to, for example, kind of like even on Genius U, like Mark Robinson, and you listen to the investment pyramid they talks about, it will tell you that it's always good to have a different classes of investments in your portfolio with different risk associated to it. The actual percentage of what you keep in crypto and what you keep in other investments is really down to your attitude to risk. Okay, so generally, I mean, I talk to the people that I coach, and I wouldn't advise them to put more than 1/3 of their investment in crypto, but then there are, depending, from younger people, they're normally more, risk prone, and sometimes they want to put more on that into crypto because they're not worried. I mean, they've got time in their working life. If they lose some money, they've got time to make it back. And for people instead, they're closer to retirement, generally they're more conservative, and they want to put a smaller percentage into crypto because again, if they were to lose that capital, then it will be more difficult for them to make it back. So it really depends on your attitude to risk and what your general investment portfolio is. What that percentage is, right? Changes. It really is down to your individual circumstances. But in any case, I wouldn't advise anybody to go 100% into crypto because it's not good to put all your eggs into one basket. So keep that in mind, when you build your investment portfolio. Okay. No, we're not going to talk about that, Dana. Not here. That's a separate conversation.
There was a question from Stan, and then a little question from Cornelia.
What was the question for Stan? I think I've addressed the one. For Stan was asking where you can get information about data on
oh, sorry, pay
wallets.
attention.
wallets and Bitcoin addresses. This is, I mean, you get that data. I mean, you can get it on chain from block explorers for different blockchains, but aggregators like Glassnode is probably the best, the ones that everybody uses. You know, you can get lots and lots of different charts, but be ready to spend some serious time understanding the lot, because there is so much information that you know, you can get straight away, but it takes you a little bit longer to make sense of it. Okay. Any other questions?
Don't seem to be.
Being
Luca?
incredibly clear.
Luca?
Hi, is that Cornelia? Hi, Cornelia.
Yeah. I posed a small question. I think I know the answers with what you explained, but is it really so that if the dollar is losing money every day, losing value every day, that this stable coin, a dollar-backed stable coin, is also losing value every day?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
See, and that's the problem with the kind of like fiat money, and these are pegged. So the stable coins are nothing more than a digital version of fiat money, really. So yeah, it's not something I would like to keep a big position in. And the only reason why generally you have stable coins in your portfolio, you know, on a longer term perspective, is that if you're waiting for good opportunities to invest, you know, especially, you know, if the market is starting to go down, you might want to say, okay, I'll sell some of my positions, have them in stable coin, and then be ready to buy at a later stage when I see that the market is starting to pick up again. So it could be a strategy that could be useful, for example, in a bear market, you know, because you know that the price of your coins is going down, so you might want to then exchange it for stable coin and put them into maybe a decentralized finance protocol that's giving you maybe 20% a year or something like this, you know. So while the market is going down, you can still actually increase your the value of your portfolio. So any thoughts on the EOS project? You say, what EOS project? The EOS project is dead and buried. Really, if you got EOS coins, sell them and buy something else. Literally, is that, you know, is that bad? And it's something that was supposed to be the next thing, you know, the next best thing after sliced bread in 2018. And if you look at where they are now, they've gone like really in the doldrums. They passed number 40 in market cap, and really nobody's paying any attention. And there is no development activity going on either. And that's the main thing. It's not so much I don't like EOS as a chain, but it's simply that they're not relevant anymore. They're just not relevant anymore. Nothing is going on. Okay. Anything else? Okay, Piero, looking forward to seeing you connect from the beach. Actually, you can unmute yourself so we can hear the noise of the waves breaking on the beach. You know, that would be nice. Because
Where are you going? Don't tease us.
no, it's gonna keep us guessing. You know, it would be something obviously very Whitsand. I got no idea what that is. I assume is in South Africa, maybe.
We know where Whitby is, but we don't know where Whitsand is.
South Africa. Okay, good. I would have said I would have guessed either South Africa or Namibia, but probably South Africa it is. Okay, good. Okay, so okay, guys. So I'm available for another little while if you want to ask questions, or otherwise we can finish here and adjourn to next week. And the one thing I wanted to say to you all, though, is that although this is not kind of like investment advice, okay, what we're talking about, you know, if you pay enough attention, you do get some tips things to do. Okay, so I've been talking about Polkadot for literally ever since we started this crypto hour. And just to make you realize, Polkadot is the place where I have placed my corporate treasury. So it is something that I value very highly, and the same as I value very highly, obviously, talk about Cardano all the time, stuff like that. So just pay attention, because it's not difficult sometimes to be in crypto. It's just that you have to stop listening to Facebook messages and YouTube that they are talking about this coin or that coin going to the moon. You don't really have to jump on everything like this. Okay. Jonathan said, did you try to stake your World Mobile token? As you can, I don't know if you can see this, but actually I've got a World Mobile token t-shirt on. This is the symbol. There you are, World Mobile on. I did try, but there was a problem with it. And I think they, World Mobile token, for everybody, is a mobile token that's been released on Cardano. And they started staking this week, but there was a problem with they had, I think, a DOS attack, so they postponed it. As far as I know, I didn't try anymore after I think it was Monday was supposed to be. So I don't know if you have any other news, Jonathan, but I think I'm waiting for some news from WMT to know when it will be possible to stake again.
I did hear them say it was perhaps a DDoS attack, but I think it might have been just saturated the everyone tried to get in at once and it just fell over. It's a very strange system. So I don't know if it's going to work or not with this early staking rewards. I think they probably just need to find a more stable approach of getting everybody on board. But yeah, I'll be trying as well. I just wondered if you had any insider information more than me, but no.
No, I don't. I think you know more about Cardano than I do, probably. You're more into the community, although I'm trying to participate a bit more into events, and I think I will go into the Swarm session tomorrow if I can. But you probably are more up to date with news in Cardano than I am.
Well, it's a very big space, so it's hard to know everything.
It is. Yes, it is. It's funny that now, for the first time, it's funny that if I follow quite a few, I would say, influencers on YouTube. Okay, not that I listen to what they say every day, but sometimes just looking at the headings on their things, it made me think what they are talking about. And there's now quite a few of them that started to talk about Cardano projects, which is the first time really that I've seen projects like ADAX being talked about on from main influencers and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Interesting to see. That means that we're getting ready. We're getting ready now for a mass interest coming into Cardano.
Yeah, definitely. You said earlier it's like a coiled spring, and I definitely feel that with the release of smart contracts. All the platforms there now, but the projects are all still trying to build in the background, and when they start releasing, it's going to be very exciting again.
By the way, guys, I just wanted to tell everybody that I don't know. Obviously, you've heard Jonathan talk before, but Jonathan runs a Cardano stake pool. So if any of you have got ADA that would like to delegate to Jonathan's stake pool, Jonathan, you're welcome to put a link to the stake pool then in the chat. And if you want to put your details, so if people want any help in how to do that, you can guide them through the process.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Everybody's welcome.
I've been waiting for this moment. I'm ready. I just have to figure it out, Jonathan. So I'll try. I know I've got to have one of those 2 wallets. You buy a Cardano and then go through the process. But this is true community engagement, Luca, that you've manifested.
Exactly. When we know good people, and Jonathan is He's a good person to know. So, you know, I'm happy to, you know, to promote within the community if we can.
Yeah, so you can join my Discord, where I've got video channels where I can help, and screen sharing where I can help people get set up with Daedalus and Yoroi. And I've also got a Telegram channel now, which I will grab the link for and drop it into. So whichever way you want to follow me, we're starting to get there. I'm on Twitter as well, so I'll drop this.
So, Jonathan, do you have any time to do any work apart from being on social media?
Yes. Well, it's easier to do crypto work than it is to do any other work. So
I'll tell you what, I've joined a few Discord channels, and it's kind of very, very distracting.
yeah,
because there's so much going on. You know, you can't follow them all. You know, really, if you're really into something and you start following the chat, it's really quite time consuming.
Yeah, and all the boards. There's so many good ones out there now as well. It's potential.
Yeah. Okay. Not to mention the Stones of Creation, eh?
Yeah.
So we haven't. Sorry, Jonathan and I have been taking part in a NFT project on Cardano called Stones of Creation. So if anybody's interested, go and look it up. Just Google it. Google it. Is very, very interesting. Very nice. I've got some nice stones.
Have you? Just a bit of craziness. Have you seen the prices of space? What they call now? The NFTs. The little astronaut cartoons. They're selling for.
Those were the original NFTs, isn't that the first NFTs on Cardano?
Yeah.
Space. Yeah. I remember they were going when they launched it for 10. Was it 10 ADA?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 ADA when they were launched. Now I don't know. I haven't followed the price now. Are they?
Last one this week, I think, was 510,000 ADA.
What?
Seriously. I was looking at my Twitter and I was like, that can't be right. That can't be a real price. But yeah, they repeated several sales in, like, we're talking millions of pounds.
Wow.
Just
if you think about, guys, if you think about the creators and if they kept a little royalty, you know, this is about the advantage of having NFTs, you know, so that every time your items get sold, you get part of the royalty that goes to the creator. Just think about how much this guy is doing. They were like, I think they made, what was that? They made 5,000 NFTs to begin with?
Yeah, I'm not sure with this
10,000.
one.
It was either 5,000 or 10,000, if I remember. I did remember listening to an interview with them.
And actually, interestingly, I don't know, because there wasn't an ability to have royalties on the native, so they may not be able to collect royalties on secondary sales. But yeah, they're good guys anyway. They're active in the community, building tools, and so whatever they're making, I'm really glad they are.
Yeah, I mean, this guy it was also just for you guys to put the things into context. This was a student that launched this project and sold, I think, 10,000 NFTs at, you know, let's say $10 each. So just make, you know, just add the numbers up, guys. And so a good thing for a student to come up with and make some money. And now the community has really taken it. It's like, as always, like the first, it's like the, you know, the punk NFTs, you know, in Ethereum. You know, they were kind of like little pixelated images. They are really, they've been sold by Christie's and Sotheby's now, you know, because they're so valuable. Because of the scarcity element and the kind of historic idea of being the first project available. Yeah. Anyway.
Luca, can I ask a question on behalf of myself and other members of the private community?
Sure.
Will you be posting the recording of last night's call in the private circle?
Last month's call.
Yesterday's. About the gaming.
Yes, who wanted to know? Because I can send you an email directly. I think I sent everybody that wasn't there as part of my community. I sent them a link. But if you
I didn't get an email, but clearly couldn't be there last night because I had a prior commitment, but I am ready.
Okay,
To
sure. I'll send you. I will
Playtime.
send you a link. I'll send you a link straight away, Dana. No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Any other questions? Robin, that was a limited offer for the people in my community. So this is why it's something beyond this. It was just a restricted opportunity for the people that are in my coaching group. Okay. But anyway, you're welcome to come and join our group if you want to, Robin. So let me know if you're interested and send me a message. All right. If we don't have any further questions, I think we can finish the call here. So I'm quite happy to spend a few more minutes with you if you have questions. I don't want to keep you.
Jonathan.
You've had enough.
Jonathan just dropped his links into the chat, by the way.
And look at what are the details on your other club?
On my other club, they're in the store. If you just put in the Genius U Crypto Investor Club, done with you. Those are the details of my investment club. The call that we've had last night on setting up a kind of like a crypto gaming investment fund to invest in projects that are coming out with games in the crypto sphere. Okay. I don't have actually the link right now with me, but just put it in the search box of Genius U crypto.
Well, you can drop me an email, guys. I'm happy to hook you up with all that kind of information. You know where you can find me.
And by the way, Duncan, I didn't have a chance because I was so busy yesterday. Duncan was a guest on a London City Circle on Wednesday night. Thank you very much for explaining how the Genius U platform works for anybody that would like to be involved. And if you want to have a look at it and you haven't had a chance yet, I'll be posting the link to the recording in the London City Circle, both on Genius U and Facebook later on today, so you can go and watch Duncan's talk on Wednesday there. Okay. All right then. Okay, thank you very much to everybody for again for giving me your time and for taking part in this. Let me just give you my if you want to contact me personally, you can post my email address there. Okay. And if you want to have a chat, and drop me a line and I'll send you a Calendly link and you can book a slot. Okay. All right then. Thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Luca.
Same time.
Thanks, Luca.